Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg here from Las Vegas. Hank, the quarterback situation in the NFL, we've down 5 or 6 quarterbacks, lots of changes. What do you think?
Actually, the number is actually 7.
Really?
With the benching of Eli, yeah.
Benching Eli, the backup quarterback in Simeon that goes down. Yeah. It's we had two.
Sept, from the beginning of the season, guys were expected to be the quarterbacks, just down 7.
Wow. I don't remember that ever happening before, but we do have some aging quarterbacks, and you knew there was going to come a time, but I didn't expect it all at once. We're only through 2 weeks and down 7 guys. So how do you approach it when you have all these backups that we don't know much about?
Well, Breeze will be back, in a few weeks. And Bridgewater will be filling in. Bridgewater's not bad. I think they can hang in until Breeze comes back. This week, they're getting a few points. And I don't think Seattle's that good. Cincinnati went out there and they threw for over 400 yards against Seattle. And they were pretty lucky to win last week. I think New Orleans, number one, was pretty ticked off about getting a bad call that went against them last week. And I think Bridgewater, with a week to work with the first unit, they've got a good running game. They've got a good defense. And I think they'll be pretty competitive this week. Pittsburgh, I'll be curious to see how that quarterback does. They made a deal for a defensive back with the Dolphins, which tells you that they have confidence in their quarterback, their young quarterback, who had a very good record at Oklahoma State. He's big and he's strong. He's in the same mode as Roethlisberger. So I don't have to change anything for him. He's big, a big 6'5" guy who's strong and who can evade the rush. And they're making some changes with the wide receivers, but they feel that they can win with this guy, so they're not making any changes or going after another quarterback. Because Roethlisberger has indicated that he will come back next year, but they're playing for this year, and they think they can still do well. And they very well could do well in that division. We'll see what Baltimore's got this week going up against Kansas City. I don't think Baltimore is a cinch in that division against Pittsburgh yet. Let's see. Philadelphia is not going to have Jackson this week. They're down some wide receivers. I don't think Wentz has played particularly well yet. There's some numbers this week, some college-type numbers, teams favored in the 20s. College teams can do it. Why can't NFL teams cover 21 points in a game?
Well, when you have super bad teams like you have with the Jets in Miami, it is very possible. We saw it last week with New England 43-0. Yeah, it's very doable. This is not the year of parity in the NFL. So you have some bottom.
The Jets are down to their third quarterback. One of their top defensive players has indicated he wants out of there. He's not happy. Adam Gase is everything I thought he was, or I thought he wasn't. He's a tough guy to play for, and he doesn't get along with players.
Yeah, he has not had a good record as a head coach, Miami or the Jets. You got. I mean, I think you got to give him a little bit of a pass with all the injuries they have, but He's not a very good coach, head coach, in my opinion. Probably good defensive coordinator. That happens a lot when you.
No, he's an offensive coach, not a defensive coach.
Well, maybe he should
He
be.
made his reputation coaching offense.
This is a joke, but maybe you should switch to defense.
He's yeah, he's probably about to call Jay Cutler again.
Give him another $10 million. That would be
Yeah.
nice. That would be nice. We do have some, teams that are 0-2 so far on the season, and kind of in a desperation mode when you're at 0-2. Which of the 0-2 teams do you think have the best chance to recover?
Pittsburgh. They have good defensive players, good young defensive players. Picking up that safety from the Dolphins, that guy can play. He'll help them. They got to get Connor healthy. They're running back. But they're in a weak division. So, they can make the playoffs in that division. Cincinnati's no good.
What do you think so far about the Browns, the way they look?
I think they're so-so. I don't think they played well against the Jets.
No, they did not.
Now they've got a tough schedule coming up. They've got the Rams this week. And the quarterback hasn't played particularly well. Got a couple of playmakers, of wide receivers. They don't have an experienced coach. And I have them under this year, and I'm not sorry. A lot of conversation, but I don't see where they're going this year.
Yeah, they were the summer hype machine. I don't see anything so far. I mean, they beat a team last week with 7 starters out of the lineup down to the third string quarterback. I don't give them any high marks for that. And now they're going to play a team that, Sean McVay versus Freddie Kitchens. That's a mismatch. Goff against Baker Mayfield. I don't know. I guess that's still up in the air, but.
Oh no, it's not. Goff is proven.
You're right.
And he's got great weapons too.
He does. Offensive lines are far superior for the Rams than it is. The Browns' offensive line has not looked good. And that's why I guess the Rams are a 3-point favorite Sunday night. That's big. We got a game.
But the other teams that have lost 2 games, I think right now Carolina's got some problems. The quarterback has a bad foot, but his problems may go beyond that. And
well, I don't know. You got Denver, who's they're 0-2, and now they're at Green Bay this week.
Yep.
That's a problem. We got an 0-2 Jacksonville tomorrow night, hosting Tennessee. Jacksonville has got a rookie quarterback in Gardner Minshew. Tennessee just lost a home game to the Colts. And the only team they've beaten so far is the Browns, and they got 18 penalties in that game against the Browns.
Tennessee will be fine. And they're playing against a team Thursday night where Ramsey wants out of there and says he'll play this week, but they're looking to trade him right now. And he's their best player. And Minshew going against that Tennessee defense is going to have a tough time. I'm not worried about Tennessee right now. I think they're a playoff team. They're well coached, and Indianapolis has a tough game this week. And then Houston is another team that you wonder where they're going.
Yeah, Houston's going out to the Chargers, who they have a minimal home field advantage where they are. But Chargers had a lot of injuries last week, and they lost to the Lions. That really hasn't improved much. That's a tough one. The Texans didn't play that well last week, but they're capable. They have a good quarterback, but he does get beat up a lot. And O'Brien, of course, is not one of my favorite head coaches in the league. But that could be a tough game. Denver's 0-2 on the year, and they go to Green Bay. Pittsburgh, you mentioned. Washington on Monday night. I don't know. You see,
Washington's a bad team.
Bad team. What do you think of Dallas so far? Are they? A lot of people love what they've been
Dallas
doing.
is a top team. They're really good. And you won't be able to tell much from this week. They can name the score against Miami coming in there. But Prescott has looked really good. I think he leads the league in touchdown passes besides Jackson. And he's done it against real competition. And, Ezekiel is healthy now. And, he's back in shape. And they've got a very strong defense. And they have an offensive coordinator, a bright guy and more. And I think right now they're among the top teams in the league.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think they can beat anybody right now the way they're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. They have looked absolutely dynamite so far, no question. Eli Manning, after 16 years, they benched him and they're putting in Jones. I personally think it was time, but I can't blame him for all the losses. There's a lot of deficiencies on that team. What do you think?
I think he's been lousy the last couple of years. And he's to blame for a lot of losses. The Giants have really built up their offensive line, and their defense isn't terrible. And he hasn't given them a chance to win. And I think he's absolutely responsible because he's not mobile. He gets sacked a lot. He's not consistent with his passing. And he's basically, since they won their last Super Bowl, he has a losing record, a bad losing record. And believe it or not, his record with the Giants is at 500 right now.
Yeah, 116 and 116. Yes, he had those two Super Bowl wins, and that's what's given him the big name. But he hasn't had a stellar career. That's for sure.
I like Eli a lot, but last year he was not very good. Although the Giants last year covered 7 times on the road. They covered the number. But he's made some bad decisions in some very close games. Everybody blamed the previous coach for their issues on offense. And now it seems that maybe it wasn't all him.
Yeah, the fans in New York didn't like it the last time when they benched him, and I think this time they've given up. And Jones looked pretty good in the preseason, so time to give the new guy a chance to move in there and see if he can right the ship and give them.
The game has changed in that young quarterbacks have come in now and they're ready to play. He had a very good coach in Cutlass at Duke. I watched him play at Duke a lot, and I thought he had all the mechanics. He has a good, strong arm. He's mobile. He's smart, and he took Duke to a couple of bowl games, and he stood up against some good teams.
Yeah, the NFL's going through a big change, and it had to happen. We've seen it, years ago in the '93 draft when the big three came out, Kelly, Marino, etc. They went through their time, and then they had to give it up. And And then 15, 16 years ago, Manning and Rivers, and they came out, and now we're doing the same thing.
The Marino draft was in the 80s.
Oh, that was the 80s, you're right. I'm dating myself. I didn't want to go back that far. There were three big quarterbacks came out that year. There was Kelly and Marino and who?
Well, there were five, actually.
Five.
There was a guy with the Jets. There was a guy from, Penn, I think came out from Penn State. And there were five quarterbacks who were drafted high that year.
Well, we're going through the similar change right now. We're a lot of new guys coming out of college. The game's changed. The college game is the pro game is starting to look a little bit like a college game. Mobile quarterbacks and kind of a run and shoot type style. So it's going to be interesting. It's a good season. I got off to a good start. 21-7 so far in the NFL. I know you've done well. We've got a lot of college games this weekend. Some big stuff going on. We've got a game, Houston and Tulane. That's going to be interesting. A little early money on Tulane in that game. So anything in the colleges catch your eye?
Yeah, by the way, I'm 8-2 right now in the handicapping contest, and five guys are at 10-0, and there are only 39 people ahead of me right now. So, but there are a whole bunch of people who are 8-2. So
to give people out there a perspective, I mean, this is almost 4,000 people, 3,500 people in this contest, and you're sitting there. You're sitting there, 39th out of all those people. That's pretty damn good, Hank. Congratulations.
Well, I started off 5-0, and Philadelphia killed me. Otherwise, I'd really be in good shape. I think Tulane is. I don't like Tulane Thursday night. I think Utah over Southern Cal doesn't surprise me. Any of those are the early games. And, it's like the American League in baseball right now. The good teams are big favorites in college. Buffalo, by the way, is playing Temple. Temple's pretty good. Buffalo's rebuilding. I like that game a little bit. Arizona State, he's done a good job there since he left ESPN and took that team over. They're hosting Colorado. Missouri is playing South Carolina. That's a good matchup. Washington State over UCLA. UCLA's horrible.
Yeah, they really are.
Yep.
Nebraska had that tough loss against Colorado. You think they bounce back big this week?
Well, I don't think they're playing a real good team, so
might lay it on a little bit.
Maybe, they're not a bad team.
No, they're not.
BYU's a good team. They're competitive against everybody.
They've had some tough teams where they played. I mean, they've played some tough games, and I think they're a home dog again this week. Just wonder how much they have left in the tank after these tough games that they played.
I think the game that people are going to watch is Georgia Notre Dame. The game's at Georgia. The Notre Dame quarterback is going to be under the gun in that game. But that's, Georgia's 2-touchdown favorite. That game will get a high rating. I think people want to watch that.
Yeah, Georgia's a big name team, and of course Notre Dame always gets a following. Very, very interesting. Anything in the horse racing this weekend?
No.
Okay.
It's Breeder. Looking towards Breeders' Cup, which is now in the first weekend in November. so not much going on there.
Right.
And there's still Los Alamitos out west, and they're running at Belmont in New York. And they had some 2-year-old races last weekend in Kentucky, and a 44-to-1 shot, I think, won one of the races.
Wow.
It's those 2-year-old races are tough to predict. You don't know who's going to surface and when they're running. And it's just, people are keeping their eye on what's going on in Santa Anita. Santa Anita just hired a new president. They hired the guy who was the head of the Breeders' Cup, who has had experience. He had also been in charge of racing previously at Del Mar. Now they put in somebody over the current president, and it's questionable what they're going to do with him. He's still there, but I think they're going to move him back east after he's kind of messed up things at Santa Anita. So, and they paid this guy quite a bit of money to take the job there. And this was a move that was made by Distronics to bring in this, very capable guy to see if he can straighten things out at Santa Anita.
Well, let's hope that happens. Hank, we'll talk again on Friday. Good luck the rest of this week, and we'll talk to you Friday morning.
All right, Jim. Have a good day.
You too, buddy. Thank you.